Good evening, everyone. My name is Omega, and joining me tonight is... Yeah, it's apparently... not Mario, then. Yeah, well, he said, it's a me. What, with two surnames or two first names, depending on which way you look at it? Ah, mine was... Mine was very Liverpudlian. Yes. I don't know how to respond to that. Yeah. Well, we weren't penguins. Depending on your definition of penguin. Yes, good evening, everyone. Sorry for the rambling start, but as I said, I am Omega. This is Armchair General, and tonight I'm going to be showing some quick skills on how to draw figures. I was supposed to have recorded this last week, but unfortunately, some bearded tit, aka me, forgot to do this and click one button and bring up this. I forgot so much more, and I have forgotten more than you will ever know. Either way, we're looking at doing basic figures. So I've got a couple here that I'm going to be keeping. I'm going to be keeping this woman here with the wrench. This, yeah, we call her Gadget. We're keeping this snake dude. Yeah, keeping Salazar, keeping the wolf with the flower, and we're keeping... And we're keeping the superhero rodent of unknown origin. And hello, Matt. Welcome to tonight's stream. If anyone who was joining me for the stream has any questions, feel free to ask them. Anyone who is watching the video, you can't ask me questions. I'm not there anymore. But yes. Yeah, okay, well I'll have a look into that for next time. But tonight we're going to be using my personal art program of choice, which is this. It's called Clip Art Studio, or Clip Studio Paint. Photoshop, yeah. Photoshop and Paint Shop. Yeah. Oh, Manga Studio is Clip Studio. They're one and the same, yeah. Unless they've diverged again. But this was originally Manga Studio 5 Editor's Edition, and then upgraded to Clip Studio 5. But it's a really good system. You can see down the side I've got all my tools that I regularly use. I've got pens, pencils for sketching, paint brushes that I use for doing a lot of things. They are very useful. You can have all... Learning how is quite hard, but we're not going to be looking at those tonight. What we are going to be looking at instead is just using, for the most part, the pencil tool. So, yeah, for sketching, for obvious reasons, as opposed to the ones in cookies, which are obvious raisins. So, what we're going to look at first of all is, because I did screw up, I'm going to reduce the opacity of this layer slightly, and I'm going to trace out again the body lines that we used for these figures on a different layer, so you can see where their body shapes are. So this is the balloon, yeah, just doing in the heads. You're doing it digitally, it doesn't matter how many attempts it takes to do a circle. You'll get it right eventually. You could be a complete scrub. You could be a scrub and just do it like this. But you don't learn stuff that way, no. Oops, there we go. Get rid of that. Which he won't. But yeah. If I was lazy, I would have left the previous video, which just had a test card for almost an hour, up. No, the other lines would get very angry. So yeah, we're going to have a look at these body curves. So, Armchair, pick one. Okay, start with Gadget. So, yeah, so the basic body flow for hair is like that. The fewer strokes you can do it, the better. So you can see where it's gone down, and that basically decides the majority of where the body flows towards. So like that. I'm just going to put in the basic frame and nothing else on this one, so you can see. Yeah, this is putting in the most basics of the basics. Well, actually, that is part of the basics. You can go even more basic. We're going to go over here and just do a quick one. He says trying to get a circle. There we go. And we're going to have someone dancing, kind of flamenco style dancing. So you can just do stick figures. So there you go, that's that basic shape. And what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to stick in another line to show you where the line of motion goes. Line of motion is like that, basically. All of your motions follow along, your spine follows down that line. Most of the body will follow that line in one way or another, or will come away from that line. Okay? So, we're moving up back over to Gadget over here. So we've now got joints coming out for the arms and joints coming out for the legs. This is, drawing a chunky stick figure that's adding in the basic structure of things like shoulders and hips. Well, a wireframe, but a little bit even less complicated than a wireframe, to be honest. So what else? So next one we're going to look at, we're going to have a look at the snake. We're going to have a look at Salazar over here. Yep. Yeah. So his one is interesting because it is that. Yes. So there's no real hips to add to this one, but okay then, we'll add the hips in, and Salazar we can do is Selena. Yeah, it differentiates from the snake body into the humanoid body. Yeah, that makes sense. Next we're going to do Mighty Rodent. So that's where we're following there. And this time we're going to do something slightly different, because one of the other flow line things you do is you can follow. Yeah, we're adding in limb flow lines now here, just to give you an idea of what your limbs would be doing. We did that with Gadget, but we added a more rigid structure for Gadget. This is if you're doing a more dynamic pose. So like back over here when we did the person dancing, that line and that line are the limb motions. So where we've got those, we would then add in the head back in, neck, upper left and right arms going in, quick bit of upper torso down towards the hips, so that leg is out like that and that leg is out like that. You see, you're not following strictly the lines of your flow lines, they're just there to guide you. They're happy little accidents. But yeah, but you see there, we've got the flow lines for the body, for the arms and for the legs, and we then added on top of them more structure that is guided by those flow lines to improve the dynamics of the character. So that's what we're doing over here with this guy. He's got a big broad neck, so that comes down. This is something I learnt relatively recently, is you add the neck in and you add a triangle to the bottom of it. That triangle is where your shoulders join to it, right? So he's got quite a beefy set of traps as well. So we're going to add in the arm joints there, we're going to add the hips there, so the best way of drawing how a hip attaches to a character is ironically to draw the kind of underwear that person would be wearing. Sounds a little bit weird, but you have to remember that clothes are designed to fit a person for a reason, aren't they? No. Over here, big broad guy, so he's got boxers on. Over here, more effeminate, so panties. Same over here, panties, compared to over here, boxer briefs. Yeah, this is more build specific. Especially with characters who are anthro or something like that, you build up little tells as to what is what the gender is, even without more obvious attributes. Things like eye shape and eyelashes and stuff like that, or chin shape. That is true for all cartoony styles. You are quite correct. So yeah. No. But yeah, so yeah. Big broad chest. So the D shape of his chest is very broad. Back over to Gadget. D shape for her chest is quite deep, because she's got a much narrower chest compared to him. Make sense? The D shape for the chest. you've got the D shape there. Yeah, or a topped U. Mm. So that's giving us a basic shape here. So we've now got this guy over here. Trick I've learnt from a friend is when you're doing legs, anything cylindrical, limb shaped, anything like that, you spiral in as you go down to help keep your lines straight, because a limb is basically a meaty cylinder. It's not 100% like that, but the basic shape is cylindrical. You then add extra detail later, but that keeps your direction in the same line, especially if you're doing into or away from point of view. So let's see, we've got Selena, adding a bit more detail to that. Yeah, well, why not? Yep. And now we're going to do the last one is the wolf over here. So following the line back down to what it was. Like that. It's a nice short line because he's kneeling down. So his neck is shorter than normal because he's leaning forwards. And everything is basically slightly shrunken in the way of basic framework. Yeah. So we'll add more detail to these guys a bit later when we move on to the next step, which will be in a couple of days. Because I'm doing this for friends who want to learn how to do some drawing. I'm not the best teacher in the world. Okay, for anyone who would like to learn, that is the reason I'm doing the video after all. So let's bring up the heads at... Oh yeah. So bringing up the heads I did last time as well. So these are a series of heads. We've got 1/3, half, down, up, and a couple of anthro ones. So what we're going to do with these, again, is I'm going to reduce the opacity, put that to there, and I'm going to, again, map out how these heads are done. A couple of balls to do them. I won't have to go through these quite as much now because they've got the basic framework on top of them anyway. More detailed framework is on top of them. Yes, don't forget the pulled up the goalpost and went home. Or if you've ever seen the Fast Show, terribly, terribly drunk. So here we've got the basic face shape. When you're doing a human head, you basically put a box around the face. Like, imagine you've rolled a bit of cardboard around a person's face. Quite possibly. But that structure gives you an idea of where you're going from here. So we're now putting the structure back in. Right, so the cylinder helps denote where things go. So your outline of your cheeks and the edge of your eyebrow meet to where the circle is. The circle is about the size of the head, but when you're doing the face, it drops down a little bit further to add where the chin goes. Oh, imagine it's Thanos. Yeah. Well, it is cartoonish because, let's face it. So let's break down that box a bit more. So put another layer in, hide these guys. So, I know, you also have a square tool as well. So there is your basic head, right? So we're going to do one looking straight forwards. No, but it is something you might see occasionally. Yeah. So for a human features, I'm going to move that over a bit, I think. I'm going to copy that as well, actually. Because I'm actually going to show you a couple of different styles here, two different styles here, depending on the kind of character you're wanting to do. So, normal human, the midline is obviously in the middle. But if you're doing characters for certain rodent-based superhero stories, for example, which I know DeviantArt is flooded with, your half line is actually significantly lower. So that half line is the pinch point where your eyes are. Inner edge of your eyes is about a third of the way out. It's not a fast and firm rule. Some people have slightly wider set eyes, others have slightly narrower set eyes. The bottom of your nose is going to be level with your cheeks. So now that's looking very flat and weird, isn't it? So we're going to drop the box a bit further. That adds in The chin, yeah. That box is not on anthro characters. That box is actually forwards. Not in most anthro characters, yeah. In a lot of them, it's it's forwards rather than down. So yeah, we've now. So now we've got that between roughly halfway between your cheeks and the bottom. So here, it's going to go the mouth. Yeah. I can do that at some point. Do that tonight if you want, to a degree. No. To be honest, I'm not sure I do either. So just throwing the hair on as well. Now I'm going to take this one that I did earlier. So this one, we're going to start adding some more features. Top of the eyes are going to be about here. Very little chin. So what was that? I couldn't hear you over your keyboard. I said I couldn't hear you over your keyboard. Never mind. No. But then again, if you're using your keyboard for stealth purposes, you probably have misunderstood the entire point of stealth. So yeah. So yeah, this is going to be a character from a certain franchise that's getting a bit of a reboost this year, thanks to a movie in said franchise. Yes. Possibly. I could have sworn I saw an advert for Prince of Egypt, the live-action version today, although that might have been some kind of hideous fever dream. The Book of... yeah. Yeah. I'm sure the Catholic Church would disagree. Yep. I've no idea. Yeah. Yeah, but also Prince of Egypt is recent enough to basically be, wow, you have no excuse. Yeah, but that's that unlike Song of the South, which is what, 60s. Yep. So, anyone recognise the character? Nope. It's one of the ones from the Archie comic book series. Oh god, it got so bad towards the end. It was. I'm not dragging them into this. I'm just saying it got so bad towards the end. Unless you want to see a dumpster fire of like, wow. I mean, it's like what would happen if you dropped kerosene on the landfill they dumped all the ET Atari cartridges into. That level of dumpster fire. Yeah. Where? Great. That narrows it down to somewhere on Earth. That narrows it down to Pennsylvania. What? There's a sequel to that coming out, isn't there? Due to some kind of bewildering lot, like The Mask 2. Hmm. But yeah, yeah. No one talks about that. Oh yeah, I like the series personally. So I'm just gonna. I'll tell you something. Showcase near me, one of the cinema chains in England is called Showcase, and they occasionally have big things on what they call a flashback, which is things like, and I missed seeing Alien on the big screen. Wow. Right, back to this though. Uh, mm, but yeah, we're doing we're doing an anther head now. As I said, chin is almost at the level, is basically at the level of the bottom of the box. The way I do ears is I use where the cheeks are as where the ears join back down to, just as a guide. You may find you have a different way of doing it. So about halfway down is where we put in the mouth, between the top of the nose and the bottom of the chin. I tend to do more cartoony eyes when I do anthros. I don't know. Those eyes are haunting. I don't think there are any other species on Earth that write fan fiction like we can, but there are animals that will basically bonk anything, like, for example, dogs. Hmm. Hmm. So that's how we're doing a face-on anthro head. So I'm going to hide those briefly and bring up, not that one, there it is. So you remember what I was saying about the side-on stuff? Here we go, here's side-on stuff for anthro. So your box is now not below the chin here, but is instead in front of the box. There. So you're bringing the face in like that. Yeah. You can move your nose, the box forwards or backwards, depending on the species. Like, say, for example, if doing a cat, much shorter muzzle, so the face shape would be more like that. So I'm just going to get rid of this one over here. Bottom of the ears comes down to the middle line. There's the cat here, and if we had the wolf one in, we'd want to have a more wolf-like ear. Coming closer in than the back of the head with the wolf. So you still have some of the back of the head like that visible. This very, yeah. But it tends to be, yeah. Yes. Yeah, but but less likely to be sued like crazy if the pet dies. What I mean is, like, if the doctor says, "Oh, you're going to be absolutely fine," and then the patient drops dead, that doctor is going to be sued for everything he owns. Whereas if he says to the animal, "You're going to be fine," and the animal drops dead, it's usually, "Oh, that's really disappointing. I'm going to sue you for the emotional damage of my goldfish." Okay, here's 50 pence. Semantics. Yeah. Anyway. So. Really? Hmm. Oof. Let's not touch that either. I think the thing was that they said, "Oh yeah, it's true to the original." I'm thinking, wow, you've either never seen the original, or this is true to the original in the same way that VeggieTales is an honest retelling of the Book of Genesis. What, of Thundercats? Either way. What, for Thundercats? There was a 2011 reboot of Thundercats, which was... Hmm? Yeah. As someone said, the only thing that comes out of Saturday morning cartoons is money from making you buy Lunchbox and action figures. But then again, you've got programs that it's better than going, "Oh, let's see what sells lots of figures," because, well, that depends entirely on how much you advertise like crazy. Frozen was not a very good movie if you ask me. It was fine. It was a fine movie. It wasn't a great movie, but for some bizarre reason, we are still selling Frozen 1 merchandise in my store, and it feels like 10,000 years. It feels... Yeah. No, there was no break between the start of Frozen 1 merchandise and Frozen 2 merchandise coming out. We still have the Frozen 1 merchandise, and we have never had less than about 20 shelves worth of damn stuff. It's been in stores so long. Mm. Mm. Isn't she the Queen by this point? No. Yeah. Mm. Or someone put. Mm. Mm. Or Queen of Atlantis later on. By the end of the. Yeah. Well, someone pointed out that all queens in Disney are basically evil, therefore all princesses must be closet sociopaths. Right, so, yeah, but who wouldn't want a giant sod-off tiger as a family pet? Yeah, but she might be a Jedi for all that matters then, because Jedi have the ability to use animal friendship to communicate with animals, and they're also owned by Disney. Well, we saw what happened when they don't. Anyway, yes. Okay, so Armchair, what we're going to do next? What would you like me to show before we end this? Before it gets a bit too weird? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining me. Tomorrow, I'm hoping to have put up a video showing you how a light box works and showing you some of the tools that I have for when I do traditional artwork on pen and paper. Not so much, no. But it is still a useful thing to learn because it teaches you something as well. Is that a lot that traditional animators use light boxes as well for doing their drawing. Traditional animators, but traditional animators, I said. Yeah, they also used a lot more reference stuff. This is the thing that I found absolutely incredible. Was they had some photos from when they were making Peter Pan, and they had set up on sound stages all the stuff like when you see Tinkerbell leaning out of a lock, they actually made the physical set for that, despite the fact there was no live action involved whatsoever. Oh yeah, yeah, and even then you'd have to have had someone set it up to know what it looks like. And this is one of the reasons why Pixar is so impressive when you realise that Pixar was the first animation studio to not use any human references whatsoever. Oh, it shows in their early stuff, but that's one of the reasons why things like the toys in first Toy Story movie look so interesting. They look like toys because the limbs don't move like human limbs; they move like low budget articulation. But yeah. Next time tomorrow, I'm going to make a short video showing you the light box and showing you the kind of equipment I have for doing artwork when I do traditional stuff. Because I still do tradition. You probably won't be unless you break into my house. I just got this wonderful image now, just like the person in New York Harbour going, "Where's my pedalo gone?" Well, since video is probably going to give lots of people some interesting nightmares, I think we're going to stop it there. I've been Omega. I've been Omega. He's been an Armchair, and thank you for joining us. Indeed, he has. See you soon.